I think going into this transfer window, and for the majority of last season when things were going wrong at Manchester United, it was accepted that this is not a one-window fix.
Right.
Manchester United are not going to panic. They are disciplined in how they are approaching this transfer window. They've got in Matheus Cunha, and they knew what they had to do to get him, which we explained before. They had to meet the conditions that Wolves had and the fee, so they did that. There's no release clause with Brian Mbeumo. So they're trying to negotiate a price that is as much as on their terms as it is on Brentford's terms. Now, we do know that the last bid worth £62.5 million, which included performance-related add-ons, was rejected by Brentford. That was the second bid that was rejected. Now, United will still go back in. We expect them to go back in. And I think there's still a cautious optimism that this deal can get over the line. But they know that Brentford want closer to £65 million, and they want the majority, if not all of that £65 million, to be a guaranteed payment. So that's where the negotiation will happen between Manchester United and Brentford. Can they have a halfway point where they can meet? Because they know that Brian Mbeumo wants to go to Manchester United. So we do know that those are the two primary targets for this transfer window before they focused on what they could do with regard to sales. And we've been talking about it for the past week, those 5 players, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony, Tyrell Malacia, all given extra time before they return to the training ground, even though Marcus Rashford has come back a little bit earlier, to find out a solution for their future. Now, if Manchester United can get their way and they get these players sold on a permanent deal, they can then generate money to maybe fund other areas of the squad that they want to do in this transfer window. So it's not a case of, right, this one transfer window, get rid of 10 players we don't want and bring in 8 players that we do want. It's almost impossible to be able to do that in one window. So United are going to do this in a way where they bring in the players that they want and avoid making those mistakes that they've made in the past, because they've had players who have arrived at the club who haven't had Premier League experience and it hasn't worked. This time they're going for Cunha, hardened in the Premier League. Brian Mbeumo, big experience in the Premier League as well. So you can see the kind of the direction that they want to go in and make sure that the recruitment is right this time, because it's so important to do it right this time.
I'm sure we'll have his eye on the World Cup next summer. It's, of course, Marcus Rashford, who at our time of speaking is technically a Manchester United player, but he's been given that time away to try and find himself another club, Mark. Are we any closer to finding out where that might be? Will it be United? Could it be somewhere in Spain?
Yeah, it's interesting because we were speaking on the transfer. It feels like now the #1 target for Barcelona. We know that they have to be very creative and clever financially. Our colleague Sky in Italy have said that Barcelona are prepared to go all in to get Marcus Rashford. In terms of his personal situation, very similar to some of the other players, he's been given more time to rest whilst this gets sorted out. However, he has opted to say, no, I need to be ready for the new season. He is at Carrington. He is training in his own training regime. I think the biggest stumbling block here is going to be the wages he's on and what Barcelona can afford to pay Manchester United, and whether Manchester United are prepared to pay a healthy chunk of what he's currently on, which is rumoured to be around £300,000 to £350,000 a week.